A mass shooting wreaks havoc in California, coffee may become medicine, and cold weather sends chills through the Sooner State. This is OU Nightly.
And we did just get the news that he was one of the 11 that were hit and killed last night. His name was Cody Kaufman. My firstborn son. Only him and I know how much I love, how much I miss. Oh God, this is so hard. Oh, son, I love you so much.
Hello, thanks for joining us on OU Nightly. I'm Sydney Forsey.
And I'm Madeline Roberts. We begin tonight with heartbreaking news about a member of the Sooner family. Ron Hellis, a graduate of the University of Oklahoma, is among those killed in a mass shooting at a Southern California bar. Hellis graduated in 2016 from OU with a master's degree in administrative leadership.
Hellis was serving as the sheriff's sergeant and was one of the first emergency responders on the scene.
CNN's Paul Verkaman has details on the shooting.
So then our friends got the bar stools and they started slamming it against the window so we could get out. That's how we were able to get out. They broke the window.
Shortly before midnight in Thousand Oaks, California, a man armed with a gun entered the Borderline Bar and Grill. The bar was hosting a college country night and was packed with college students. The man fired into the crowd.
He just kept firing. I ran out the front door. I hear chairs being thrown out the window. People were trying to get out the window.
A couple guys that were closer to the bar, they got up and started running towards the back door and said, "Get up, he's coming."
At least a dozen people were killed, including Sheriff's Deputy Ron Hellis, who was one of the first to respond.
Gave his all, and tonight, as I told his wife, he died a hero because he went in to save lives, to save other people.
Police say Hellis exchanged gunfire with the shooter and was struck multiple times before another officer dragged him from the line of fire.
Hellis later died at the hospital. The OU Alumni Association released a statement about him on Twitter saying, "Today the OU Alumni Association community grieves with the friends and family of one of our own, OU graduate Sergeant Ron Hellis, and all those who lost their lives to the senseless violence last night in California." As the day goes on, we are learning more about the suspect in this shooting.
Mariah Conduff is in the news center and continues our team coverage. Mariah?
We know the suspect, David Long, was a U.S. Marine veteran. It was confirmed that Long opened fire at the Southern California bar late Wednesday. Police say he was 28 years old and he used a legally purchased Glock 21, a .45 caliber handgun. Detectives say while a motive is not known, Long does have a record.
Several contacts with Mr. Long over the years, minor events such as a traffic collision. He was a victim of a battery at a local bar in 2015. In April of this year, deputies were called to his house for a subject disturbing. They went to the house, they talked to him. He was somewhat irate, acting a little irrationally. They called out our crisis intervention team, our mental health specialist, who met with him, talked to him, and cleared him, didn't feel that he was qualified to be taken under 5150.
Long's neighbors described him as a guy who just minded his own business. President Donald Trump is considering former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie and Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi to replace Jeff Sessions, who was forced to resign just yesterday. And earlier today, an appeals court supported the ruling to block the Trump administration from ending DACA, the program that shields young immigrants from deportation. The Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals unanimously upheld the initial injunction against Trump's decision to phase out the Obama-era program. Federal judges in New York and Washington have also ruled against the president on DACA. Sydney and Madeline, in response to the president's appointment of Matthew Whitaker as the acting attorney general, a nationwide protest known as Nobody is Above the Law is set to happen at 5 p.m. today at locations across the country. And it includes people here in Norman who plan to gather at the northeast corner of 24th Ave, Northwest, and Robinson.
Thank you, Mariah.
And our big story locally, chilly weather is moving in.
Yeah, it's pretty much cold enough to need a coat. Nash Rhodes is here with more on the weather.
You're definitely going to want to need that coat, especially if you're heading out the door tonight. We do have freeze warnings across much of the state, especially north of Oklahoma City in this purple shaded area. There's a freeze warning for tonight as temperatures are expected to get into the 20s in some places. And then we have a freeze watch. Now this does include Norman, Lawton, and Ardmore. Further down to the south, this is mainly for tomorrow night, where temperatures could also be in the lower 20s and we could even see some teens. But coming up, I'll have an update on this rain as well as snow chances and a game day forecast. You're not going to want to miss this. Back to you two at the desk.
Thanks, Nash. And this event to honor veterans turned out to be quite the home run. The OU Veterans Association is hosting a week of events in order to connect and honor student veterans. Last night, OU softball helped them out by hosting a friendly softball game at Marita Hines Field. No score was kept, but laughs and cheers filled the night. A couple of games of dizzy bat and a group picture concluded the night of fun.
They just appreciate what we have done, and they come out here and put up with us and our shenanigans and and the fun that we like to have when we play these games. It kind of brings the camaraderie back to us that we had while we were in the military, and we just like to come out here and just have a good time.
The week of events ends on Friday with a speech from U.S. Marine Corps Colonel and OU alumni Brian P. McCoy.
And still to come on OU Nightly, how your favorite morning drink may be able to prevent disease.
Plus, we'll hear from a newly elected official.
Welcome back. With the midterm elections ending, Abby Green is here with a newly elected member of the House. Abby?
Yes, I'm here with the new representative for House District 45, Marilyn Bell. Now, Marilyn currently serves on the City of Norman Development Oversight Committee for District 2, is an alumnus of the leadership of Norman, and is a member of the Norman Chamber of Commerce. She also graduated with a bachelor's degree from the University of Oklahoma. Her dedication to the city has given her a vision for the future of the state. Now, first off, congratulations on your win. We are so excited to have you.
Thank you, Abby. I'm happy to be here.
Now, I know you've talked about investing in infrastructure and health and things like that in the state. What are some of your plans for the city and Norman the city and the state now that you are elected?
Well, my primary focus throughout the campaign will be the same going into the legislature as a freshman. That's public education. Public education is something that's been so important to every single constituent that I talked to during the campaign, and I worked on the campaign for over a year. So doing that year-long job interview, I call it, is the chance that I had to really get to know the concerns of people, and 9 times out of 10 we talked about public education. It's still on everybody's minds, not just on our teachers' minds, it's on parents' minds and community members' minds, so I'm happy to be given the chance to have a seat at the table to talk about those concerns, because they do exist even in a great school system like Norman.
Absolutely. Now, in the recent election, obviously we have a new Republican governor, and now the Republicans make up at least the majority of the legislature. How do you plan to kind of overcome that political tribalism that you might face?
Oh gosh. It is critical that we reach across the aisle, isn't it? Because our caucus actually got smaller this election cycle. So I think it's more important than ever that we're really open to having conversations with our colleagues on the other side of the aisle. And I think the one way to do that is just to be open and realize that the majority of people who ran for office the same way that I did and who got elected really care about their own communities, and they have the same concerns. We just have to work really hard to find a vision for all Oklahomans that really makes sense for us all.
Now, in regards to education, the teacher walkout has obviously affected Oklahoma, and many teachers and schools have been affected by it. What are some of your plans to create a flow of adequate funding for education?
You know, I was there every day except for one with our teachers during the walkout, and what they said then is still important now. We need to consider raising the GPT even more to 7% or beyond. That's a hopeful statement, of course, but I think it can be done. And then I think, you know, one of our gubernatorial candidates, Drew Edmondson, talked about the short-term effects that things like the cigarette tax could have. That's a regressive tax, of course, that's not always popular, especially in the Democratic caucus. But I think it's important that we consider short-term and long-term solutions to the budget crisis. And that's what I'm really hoping we can do this session.
Well, thank you so much for your time. We will find out how these plans take effect when the legislature convenes. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
And it's only November, and this year's flu season is already deadly. OU Nightly's Tori King has the latest on that and the rest of today's health headlines.
According to the Oklahoma Department of Health, 2 people have died from the flu this year. Health officials say the 2 victims were residents of northeastern Oklahoma and that both individuals were 65 years of age or older. These are the first reported deaths, but more than 56 people have already been hospitalized for the flu-related symptoms. 14 of those people were from Tulsa County. Doctors say it is not too late to get a flu shot. And the FDA is considering adding sesame to the list of 8 ingredients required by law to be listed as an allergen on food labels. Right now, the items that make up the list are milk, fish, eggs, shellfish, peanuts, tree nuts, soybeans, and wheat. Sesame, as it stands, is listed as a natural flavor or spice, but this tiny seed can have deadly consequences for some. While sesame allergies are rare, more than 300,000 Americans are affected by it. Although the number seems small compared to most allergies, it's actually about equal to soy and fish, making it a worthy contender for the list. Now, if added, the FDA believes requiring warning labels may prevent serious reactions or even death. And as it turns out, coffee may actually be good for your brain. Canadian researchers from the Kimball Brain Institute studied different roasts from Starbucks brand coffee. They found coffee contains a particular compound that can help prevent 2 protein fragments common in Alzheimer's and Parkinson's diseases. These compounds are also what makes coffee bitter, so the darker the coffee, the higher the quantities of the compound, the better for your brain. While it seems coffee may reduce the likelihood of these diseases, the Toronto researchers say coffee cannot be a suggested cure quite yet. Now, y'all, this is some pretty good news because I drink coffee a few times a week. I'm more of a tea girl or a blonde coffee kind of a girl, but maybe I should start drinking black from now on.
I feel you too, Tori. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Tori. And make sure to stick around because sports is talking Bedlam.
And Nash has a chilling forecast.
That's right, we could see some snow, and I've got an update for your game day forecast coming up. Welcome back to OU Nightly. Here's a live look at a dreary Oklahoma City. It's also very cold right now. Temperatures are in the 40s, 41 here in Oklahoma City. As we look at the regional map, that's really the case. Those winds from the north are keeping our northern communities down in the 40s and 30s, as you can see here, while places like Ardmore are at 51 degrees right now. We do have some rain going on off to our northeast and east. However, I want to direct your attention further to the north. We haven't seen this color on the radar very much this year. That is in fact snow. The bad news for us is it is staying pretty much in Kansas. As you can see here, snow totals are piling up around the Wichita area, but not at all in Oklahoma. Here, we're seeing traces of rainfall from these rain showers. As you can see here, Woodward about 1/10 of an inch and Enid about 1/10 of an inch as well. Looking at the radar forecast though, as we play this out, these showers are going to slowly exit our state into the overnight hours as these clouds start to clear out for a mostly clear day tomorrow, as highs will be in the 50s. However, as we continue forward, I want to direct your attention to Monday morning. As you can see here, we kind of have a wintry mix entering our state from the southeast with our next system. We could see a snow chance. However, it is a little too early to forecast this to be exact, so stay up to date with OU Nightly and we'll keep you informed as Monday gets closer. Looking at Friday, though, highs will be in the 50s for the most part with those winds out of the north. Keep an eye on this high pressure system. However, that's going to drop our lows down Friday night into the 20s. It's going to be frigid. Look at that, 19 degrees there in Miami. However, this high pressure system will shift our winds and bring in much warmer air from the south and heat us back out of freezing just in time for Bedlam. So if you're planning on heading to that game, still want to make sure you bring a jacket. Those winds will be at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, so it is going to be a cold one. Over the next 2 days, once again, highs will be in the right around 50 degrees, 49 and 50. Again, down to 23 degrees Friday night, and then throughout the entire upcoming week, lows will be in the 20s and 30s. And look at that, Monday down to 39 degrees for a high. It is starting to get cold and it is getting cold fast. And guys, I'm just happy I'm finally seeing some snow chances back in our forecast.
Same here, Nash. I'm kind of been tired of the rain. It's going to be nice to have the Winter flurries may be moving in soon.
Yeah, I'm over it. I'm ready.
Thanks, Nash.
Thank you.
Well, it may be cold outside, but the Oklahoma City Thunder are on a hot streak. Alex Atonides is here with more on that. Alex?
Yeah, Madeline, the Thunder are rolling right now, but maybe without their superstar for a second straight game. We'll update you on Russell Westbrook's status for tonight in sports straight ahead. And welcome back. Last night, the OU volleyball team picked up a crucial Big 12 road win at Texas Tech. The Sooners took down the Red Raiders in 5 sets in Lubbock and moved up to 4th place in the Big 12 ahead of Texas Tech. OU is back at home Friday night against TCU at McCaslin Fieldhouse. And something else pretty big is happening here in Norman this weekend, and Brooke Mursky is here with more on the Bedlam Showdown.
Thanks, Alex. Sooner fans are anticipating the big game against OSU and the intense rivalry it brings. Head coach Lincoln Riley emphasizes the hype, but some of the players won't get too swept up in the emotion.
But they've always been battles. They've been very intense. You could tell you're playing those guys, you're going against a really good team. I mean, I've always felt that in all three. I mean, the team is really coached up. There's really good players. You feel the intensity of the rivalry.
We're focused on, just taking this week right now and, getting out there, putting a great game plan together and going out there and playing, great ball and getting a win. That's really what we're focused on. We're not too much focused on the emotional side of it, getting too emotional with it. At the end of the day, we're coming out here to play football. We're coming out here to, have fun with our teammates, play for our brothers, and get a win.
A win would move the Sooners one step closer to a spot in the Big 12 title game. The OU Athletics Department is asking all fans to pack the Palace crimson. Alex, what else is happening in Oklahoma?
Yeah, Brooke, last night the Oklahoma City Thunder picked up their 6th straight win on the road against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Despite Russell Westbrook's absence, the Thunder were able to remain hot by squeaking out a 95-86 win at the Q in Cleveland. The Thunder will be shorthanded again tonight when they host the Houston Rockets at 7 p.m. at the Peak. And sticking with the NBA, the league announced that they will be televising the 2019 All-Star Draft on TNT. Just a little refresher, the players with the top 2 votes by the fans will draft their team's playground style regardless of which conference they play in. The specific date has not been announced, but it will be aimed for the end of January. And Notre Dame looks to continue their run towards the college football playoff this weekend, but they will have to do it without their starting quarterback. Ian Book will miss the home game against Florida State after he injured his ribs in the Irish road win at Northwestern last weekend. He is questionable to return next weekend for their big showdown with Syracuse at Yankee Stadium. And Week 10 of NFL action kicks off tonight with a huge showdown between the Carolina Panthers and the Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz Field. Carolina comes into tonight 6-2 and chasing the Saints in NFC South, while the Steelers are maintaining their lead in the AFC North, all without Le'Veon Bell. Kickoff is scheduled for 7:20 on Fox. And it was a rough night on the ice for TJ Oshie last night at home in Washington, D.C. And you can see here he took a stick to the face and had to come out of the game. Then later on in the third period, he gets elbowed by a Penguins player and has to exit again. But of course, being the tough hockey guy that he is, he comes back and scores the game winner for the Caps over the Penguins. Now, I don't know about you guys, but taking a stick to the face, that's probably one of the reasons why I didn't play hockey growing up.
Yeah, Alex, I'm actually a huge Capitals fan. I was watching that game last night, so it was really cool to see him get the game-winning goal.
Fan, so,
oh, you are?
Yeah.
I can't sit by you anymore.
Well, that's all we have for sports.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
Still to come on OU Nightly, we'll have another look at the 5-day forecast.
And love was in the air last night at a high school football game. Stay with us. I'm Emily Dunford at the OU Nightly Update Desk. The Oklahoma State Regents for Higher Education approved an $878 million budget request for the next fiscal year. It's a 13% increase, and $40 million of it will go towards faculty raises at Oklahoma's 25 public institutions. The proposed increase will help restore recent cuts due to the state's budget shortfall. That's it for now. Back to you in the studio. Asking for someone's hand in marriage can be a scary thing, so sometimes you need a little help.
That's right. A high school football coach in Gwinnett County, Georgia, asked his team for assistance in popping the question. During last Friday's game, the Lanier High School football team handed out flowers to the girlfriend of their wide receivers coach.
As she collected the roses, the coach shocked her by getting down on one knee, and of course, she said yes.
Pretty cute story there.
That is very cute. I mean, tying a proposal to high school football, Friday Night Lights, is really special, but proposing there, that is a dream. But I would also be saying yes if we got snow on Monday. And
Yeah.
that's what your weather fact is about today, correct,
Absolutely.
Nash?
If we were to get snowfall on Monday, we would be well ahead of schedule for this time of year. December 15th is the average first day of snowfall for us here in Norman, and Monday would be about 33 days ahead of schedule. Also, a quick look at your 7-day forecast. We will be right around 50 degrees all the way through Sunday. Until Monday, we drop into the upper 30s and slowly recover throughout the start to the next work week.
All right, well, thank you, Nash.
No problem.
Thanks for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by the Gaylord College of Journalism and Mass Communication on the campus of the University of Oklahoma.
We'll see you back here tomorrow night live at 4:30.
Have a great evening.
Good night.